Welcome to our deep relaxation class.
Ariom, namaste, welcome everyone. My name is Brian and I'll be facilitating our deep relaxation class. I do want to take just a moment before we start our practice to thank the Eldersburg Library and all of their faithful staff who has continued to make these free online classes possible. You can always go back and visit past classes by searching on YouTube. The library's yoga playlist is under Library CCPL, and there you can actually find a health and wellness and whole collection of healthy cooking classes and deep relaxation classes and other yoga classes and meditation practices from other practitioners. So that being said, we're going to start our practice this evening in a comfortable seated position. And that might be seated on the floor or seated at the edge of a chair or up on some cushions. So just take a moment to find a comfortable seat. And then once you arrive there, just start to mentally check in. What I mean by that is try and allow yourself to just be here now. We all have other circumstances outside of our control beyond this moment, of course. But just for this next 58 minutes, we're going to really use our powers of concentration and then balance that with some surrender and letting go to really be immersed in the here and now for this next little bit of time. So take your time and find that comfortable seat. And if you find there are recurring thoughts that are pulling you from the here and now, don't engage with them. This isn't the time to figure anything out or have any major breakthroughs. This is time that is specially allotted for you to nourish your body, your heart, and your mind, and rest in the spirit of peace in this deep relaxation offering. So when you come into that seated position and as you make yourself comfortable, allow your hands to rest together at the heart center. Let the shoulders relax back and down. Maintain an upright position through the spine, letting the spine reach tall like a tree growing to reach the sun. Observe any biofeedback or physical cues you're receiving from your body as you sit here. And as we sit here, we're practicing something actively, even though physically we're sitting still, we're not moving. We're allowing ourselves to actively observe, actively listen. If you notice any areas in your physical body that feel tense or tender or needing of something, just allow your mental awareness to scan over those parts. Just plant the seed for peace and relaxation right now by encouraging that space to soften, by just allowing for whatever is without trying to change anything too much. Before we begin to move and stretch and begin our physical practice, we'll just take a few more moments to connect with the present moment, to connect with gratitude, to connect with our heart's intention, and why it is we showed up to our mat or to our practice space this evening. When you're ready, you can release your hands back down to the knees or on your lap. If you prefer to keep them in front of the chest, that's fine for now. We're just going to sit up tall, and we're just going to start by stretching our head and neck briefly. We're going to do this by just simply looking over one shoulder, keeping the shoulders relaxed back and down. Look over one shoulder, stretch through the eyes, and then bring the head and neck back to center. Repeat that on the other side. Once again, look over one shoulder. And lastly, repeat that on the other side. Go ahead and bring your head and neck back to center now. And now we're going to drop same side, ear to shoulder. For example, left ear will just start to lean down towards left shoulder. Pull the shoulders back and down. You can tuck and tilt the chin gently. Just very slightly rotating the head and neck. And bring the head and neck back to center. Pause just a moment, and then go ahead and repeat that on the other side. Bringing right ear down to right shoulder. Gently tuck and tilt the chin. Very gently rotate the head and neck. Very good. Bring the head and neck back to center now. We're going to shrug the shoulders up like a single unit, like a yoke. We're going to pull the shoulders up together. Inhale and hold your breath in a moment. And when I say release, you're going to exhale and just drop the shoulders together. Exhale and release. This is going to be good practice for our yoga nidra later. We're going to inhale together. Inhale, hold your breath in. Sip in as much air as you can. Just feel any tensions or stress melt away. Release. And again, inhaling. And exhaling, release. Do that one more time. Shrug the shoulders up. Enjoy that big breath in. And exhale, let it go. Very good. All right, we're going to take a nice, gentle, seated twist next. Sitting up tall, take a deep breath in. Go ahead and lift your left hand up. Bring your right hand around behind you. And then just gently cross that left hand over right leg. Inhale and sit up tall. And as you exhale, just continue to twist through the head and neck like we did a moment ago. Twisting to the right. Inhale. Left hand back around behind. Right hand up and overhead. And then gently cross that right hand over that left leg. Inhale, sitting up tall. Exhale, twisting a little deeper to the left. Inhale. Rotate that right hand back around. Bring left hand to the knees or lap. Good. All right, we're going to practice a little seated cat and cow next, starting to warm up the spine a bit more. As you inhale, you're going to rock forward on your seat. And as you exhale, you're going to gently rock back onto those sitting bones. Inhaling, lifting through the chest, pulling the shoulder blades together, and exhaling, just gently rocking back. Sync your breath with this, letting the inhalation fill and guide that seated cow. And then exhaling, letting that emptiness, totality of the exhalation, guide the seated cat. 5 more breaths moving through that seated cat and cow. Very good. Okay, we're going to come up onto our hands and knees next. And we're going to continue to warm up through the spine with some more cat-cow variations. If you need, if you have sensitive knees, you might need to bring a blanket or cushion underneath of the knee joints. In which case, you can go ahead and grab that now, bring it in place. And then go ahead and bring the hands underneath of the shoulders. Knees about hip distance apart. And we're going to start by just gently dropping the hips side to side. You can start to lengthen the side body, kind of pushing the shoulder in the opposite direction. That hip, all those lateral muscles starting to warm up. Also moving the lymph, increasing circulation. All those good physical benefits from our movements here. Good. Now go ahead and drop the hips back and down to the left and slowly circle the hips forward and up to the right. Starting to make some hip circles, warming up the hip flexors and muscles around the glutes. You might feel as you sink the hips back towards the heels, the lower back starts to get a little bit of a stretch. That twice more in this direction, and then we're going to go ahead and switch, rotating our hips in the opposite direction. If you're ready, you can pause and switch. Three more times, circling the hips in this direction, just like that. Very good. All right. Next, we're going to move into a thread the needle pose. So you can stay here on hands and knees just a bit longer. And we're going to inhale and reach our right hand up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to reach this right hand over and across towards left knee, dropping right shoulder towards the floor. We're going to repeat this 4 more times, and then we're going to hold. That fourth time, widen the knees, drop your shoulder towards the floor. If you wish, you can actually bring this left hand to lower back or reach it around to grab hold of right hip. You might just be comfortable to keep this forearm on the floor. You're ready. Inhale, press the floor away with left hand, reach that right hand all the way back up. And then when you're ready, slowly lower that right hand down. We're going to repeat on the other side. So we're going to do that 5 times total. Inhaling, reaching up with left hand. And exhaling, lowering that left shoulder towards the floor. 4 more times, guided by breath. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling, lowering down. Pull that left shoulder into the floor. Find a comfortable place for right arm to rest. When you're ready, press the floor away with right hand. Finish that twist, reaching left hand up, and then slowly lower that left hand back down. Go ahead and just take a couple more rounds of cat and cow here from hands and knees, and then we'll move up to standing. Take your time to get there. When you're ready, we're going to come up to stand. Okay. So from the standing position, before we move into our sun salutation practice, we're going to do a couple of cleansing practices. These practices are great for stimulating the immune system response and moving lymph in the body and helping to increase circulation, while also bringing extra oxygen-rich blood to circulate in that system. So the first thing we're going to do is a series of shaking and tapping, and then we're going to do a cleansing breath practice with some movement. So the shaking and tapping is pretty much just what it sounds like. We're going to start by standing with our feet about hip distance to shoulder distance apart. And just take a moment to kind of rock back and forth on the feet. Let yourself feel really firmly grounded. All right. We're going to bring a little bend in the knees, and we're just going to start to shake. Even if you were just gently jogging in place or on an elliptical. Just let your body feel fluid and free to move, and just start to shake out shoulders, arms, torso, hips, and legs. We're going to keep doing this for about 90 seconds, so don't stop quite yet. Take big, slow breaths while you shake and bounce in place. The muscles of the face relax, or maybe even find that the corners of the mouth turn up. while you shake. Of course, if you have some funky dance moves you've been wanting to break out, then this is a great time for that too. Good. Shake everything really well. Really trying to get stuff moving in the body here. Encouraging that immune response and detox process. Shaking off any old stagnant energy or things that are stuck or clinging to you from an emotional, mental kind of way. Those things can get stuck in our physical body too. Shaking practice is going to help shake loose anything that we don't need hanging on to us anymore. That's great. And go ahead and just pause. Bring your hands about 6 to 8 inches apart. Imagine you're holding like a basketball or like an orb shape in front of your solar plexus. Feel the hands tingling now. Feel all that increased circulation and movement of the lymph in the body. I want you just to gently start to rub each finger and thumb. Now bring the hands together and start to rub the hands. This is going to be a way that we kind of energetically wash our hands, so to speak. You're just going to, just like you would wash your hands under water with soap, you can do that here. Feel the hands recharge. Feel all that warmth in the hands. We're going to do that periodically throughout our tapping. We're going to start with some gentle tapping on the base of the neck. We're just going to use the first knuckles of our fingers to do this. And the tapping is very light pressure, all right? Nothing too vigorous, especially here. So just very gently bring some light tapping to the base where the head and neck meet. I want you to fill your mind with positive affirmations for your own health, your deliverance from any kind of illnesses. Make your claim for your health now as you tap. Make that connection between the tapping, reclaiming your vitality. Good. Before we move on, let's go ahead and pause. Bring the hands back to that orb shape. Big breath in. Bring the hands together. Wash the hands off. Now we're going to start with our left side. We're going to start by making just kind of like a paw shape. Just kind of curling the fingers in and just using the palm and the knuckles here to tap on the shoulder around the base of the neck where the rotator cuff and shoulder meet. You can just make like a kind of like a little beak shape with the fingers and just kind of tap underneath the rotator cuff. Good. Now we'll do the same thing on the other shoulder. Remember, you're taking deep breaths in. And you're reaffirming your health, your freedom with this tapping practice. Use affirmations like, I am healthy. My body is safe and free. I'm letting go of anything that I don't need to carry anymore. I'm reclaiming my birthright for a healthy, vibrant body. Good. Let's go ahead and wash the hands off. You can clasp together. Go ahead and rub them together really vigorously. Keep moving down the channels of the arms now, and we'll rotate between one arm and the other. So we'll be doing both sides at the same time. So we'll start by just tapping up the outside edge of left arm, down, inside, same thing, going up the outside, down the inside. Healthy, powerful, safe, and secure. Releasing the past here right now. Peace and fresh energy flood your being. Get a whole new body, physically, subtly, by the end of our practice today. Removing anything that's stuck or keeping us from experiencing our total health. I'm going to do that one more time, each arm. Very good. Recharge the hands and just let the arms hang by your side. See if you can discern that difference between before we started our shaking and tapping and right now. Check out the arms, the shoulders, the base of the skull. How do you feel in contrast to before? Just observe it without a lot of analytical judgment. Just observe. Now we're going to continue tapping the sides of the body. So I'm going to actually lift one hand up. We're going to incorporate a lateral stretch here. So I'm going to lift my left arm up and over, and then as I lift up and over, I'm just going to tap all the way up to the armpit, and then back down. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Do that 5 times on each side. That's good. Keep reaching. Letting the pitter-patter of the hands stimulate all those beautiful vital organs. Liver, spleen, gallbladder, digestive organs. One more time each side. Very good. Inhale, turn the palms forward, shrug the shoulders up, and just relax them back and down. Notice how your whole torso is buzzing with fresh energy. Receive all that peace and vibrancy. Good. We're going to go ahead and start to continue tapping with our lower back and kidneys now. So we're going to really just focus on this area here of the lower back. And just to very gently just start to tap there. We'll do this for about 30 seconds. Keep up your deep, deep breathing. Good. Relax the hands, shake out the hands and arms again. Good. Now we're going to do the legs and lower body all at once. So we're going to start by just tapping on the sides of the hips, working our way down the outside edges of the legs. When you get to the knees, just pause and use both hands to kind of circle around the knees gently. Continue down the outside edge of the legs. You can just kind of massage and just very lightly kind of apply some pressure with the fingers around the ankles and tops of the feet. And then just open palms up the inside edge of the legs, up to the thighs, and then make your way back around. We're going to do that 5 times. So that was 1. Let's do it 4 more. Last time. Very good. Just pause, standing tall in your mountain pose. Standing tall, lifting up through the navel, heart rising, chin parallel to the floor. Very good. So this next practice is a kriya. It's a cleansing practice, and it can sometimes stir up some like mucus and stuff because of the nature of the exhalation. It's kind of like a visceral exhalation, and so you might like to have some Kleenex or something nearby. You might need them, and you might not. So we're going to just simply stand with our feet just a little bit wider. All right, we're going to exhale completely. And we're going to imagine that our fingers were like, had these like X-ray kind of like fingers of like a comb. And we're just going to comb through all of our skin, our muscles, our bones. We're just going to pull out any junk that we don't need. We're going to inhale and pull all this stuff out, all the way up through the body, all the way up through the chest, all the way up through the neck. And then we're going to exhale and we're just going to release all that stuff down. And then we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to get the back of the body now. Pulling all that stuff out of the back of the body that we don't need. And then we're just going to release it where it's instantaneously transmuted. Inhale, pull it all out. Big, long, slow breath in. One more time for the back of the body. Inhale, slowly come up to standing. Pause with the hands touching in front of the chest. Stay with your breath. Any thoughts that pull you out of the here and now, just observe them. Do not engage. Very good. We're going to move into one more kriya. This one's really great for bringing all this fresh air into our lungs and still moving lymph and increasing circulation. So we're going to turn our toes out. Heels are going to stay turned in. We're going to bring our fingertips to the tops of the shoulders. All right, all we're going to do is we're going to keep our hips locked in place. The twist that we're going to move through is going to happen from the navel up. All right, so hands top to shoulders, little bend in the knees. We're going to inhale to the left and then exhale to the right. You can do this very kind of methodically, slowly. If you want to start to increase the speed, you can. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Relax the hands. Inhale, bring the hands up and overhead. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring your hands to hips. Hinge from your hips without rounding through the back. Exhale and start to lower the crown of the head towards the floor. Inhale, come up halfway. Hands pressing into the thighs. Big breath in. Exhale, relax the hands down towards shins or feet. And inhale, return all the way back to standing. Hands come up last. Exhale again, hands to hips, hinging forward. Come up halfway. And then exhale, release down all the way. Finally, come back to standing. Hands rise last. Exhale, hands rest in front of the chest. Very good. Okay. We're going to come up to the top of our mat, and we're going to make our way into our sun salutation practice. If you need to grab a drink or make any little adjustments, now is a good time. So we're going through a couple rounds of sun salutations, then we'll get back down to our mat so we can save some time for Yoga Nidra. Exhale, completely let the hands touch and rest in Anjali Mudra, that position of gratitude and prayer in the center of the chest. As you inhale, reach the hands up and overhead, gently press the hips forward. And as you exhale, hinge from the hips and reach the hands down, planting the fingers on the floor. Step your right foot far back and soften your right knee down. So we're in this low lunge. You're welcome to stay here. You might like to come up onto that knee. All right, we want to make sure this front knee stays just behind or above the ankle. You can start to sink the hips forward. All right, feel that big stretch across this right hip flexor and quad as you sink your hips forward and down. Inhale, bring the hands to frame that front foot. When you're ready, exhale, we're going to step this front foot back into our first downward facing dog of the evening. Now, in our downward dog, we want to make sure we keep our hips held high, pressing back into the heels. Head and neck relax. You want about the width of both your hands in between the feet. You don't need to have the feet right on top of each other or very wide. From here, lower down to knees, chest, and chin, and then scoop your hips forward and rise into cobra. Shoulders stay back and down. If this high cobra is too much, you can lower down onto forearms and rest in Sphinx pose. Take another breath in cobra, and when you're ready, exhale, press back, downward dog. When you're ready, go ahead and step your right foot up in between the hands, soften your left knee down. We're in our low lunge. See if you can try whichever variation you practiced on the other side. When you're ready, lower your hands down. With your next exhalation, step the back foot up in between the hands, standing forward fold. Rise halfway lift. And exhale, release. Inhale, come all the way back to standing. Hands rise last. Exhaling, hands touch in front of the chest. So we're going to move into our second round of sun salutations. We're going to add another posture while we're there. Maybe we'll add two, and then we'll get ready for our deep relaxation. Exhale, hands rest in front of the heart. Inhale, little back bend, opening the heart, pressing the hips forward. Exhale, hinge from your hips, reach the hands down, and step your right foot far back. From here, we're going to inhale up, hands reach up and overhead. And then we're going to bring the hands down to touch in front of the chest. From here, we're going to start to twist over to the left. All right, option one. I'm going to give you a bunch of different options for your twist here. You can stay right here. You can start to bring the back of your tricep across that left knee. All right. You might also prefer to have your right hand on the floor with your left hand reaching up, in which case you might even lift that back knee off of the mat. You can also lower the back of the left hand to the lower back for a half bind practice, or you can keep that left hand on left hip or near a wall to help you balance. You're ready, lower that left hand down or come out of your twist. Return to the low lunge with fingers framing the front foot. And before we come back to down dog, we're going to incorporate one more twist. We're going to bring our hands to the inside edge of this front foot. We're going to lift that back knee up and we're going to turn and ground the back foot down. The back foot is facing out, so it's parallel with the front and back of our mat. From here, you might need to come up on forearm onto that left quad. You might like to keep the left hand on the floor. And then we're going to reach this right hand up for a extended side angle. When you're ready, you can frame the front foot, come onto the ball mound of that back foot, lower the knee down, and now we'll prepare for our downward facing dog. Lower down, knees, chest, and chin. Your choice, upward dog, cobra, sphinx. And meeting back and downward dog again. Stepping the right foot up in between the hands, slowly lower that left knee down. We'll do the same on this side. Inhaling, hands reach up. Exhaling, let the hands rest in front of the center of the chest. You can take your twist staying upright, just like this. You might like the variation where you can bring the back of your left arm across that right knee. Or still, you might prefer to bring left hand down to the floor, reaching the right hand up, in which case you could lift and raise that back knee off the floor. When you're ready, you can lower back down to that low lunge and prepare to step the back foot forward. That standing forward fold. Inhale up halfway into prepare pose. And exhale, relax, release. Slowly rise all the way back up to standing, hands come up last. And then return to rest in front of the center of the chest. Very good. So we're going to make our way down to our mat. I'm going to get a quick drink of water. This is a great time to get a drink if you need one. So we're going to come down onto our backs. Go ahead and find a comfortable place to rest. If you feel like there's really a stretch that you're really needing before you can just lie down, go ahead and work that into your practice now. You're in the privacy of your own space where you can do that. I'm going to guide the last bit of our class from a seated position, but again, I encourage you to make yourself comfortable lying down on your back. You can bring pillows under your knees for some support for the lower back. You could roll up a blanket to put behind the head and neck. You might like to have an additional blanket to cover up. So we'll just take the next minute or two to make those accommodations so you can be totally comfortable and ready for our deep relaxation. So the way this will work is we'll go through a quick tense and release practice where I'll guide us through different muscle groups of the body. And I'll say inhale and hold, tense and tighten. So you'll literally hold the breath in and tense and tighten that suggested muscle group. And then when I use the word release, you're going to relax and lower that part of the body and then follow the cues to let that part of your body be completely relaxed. So we're going to start with the lower body. We're going to start with the right leg. We're going to start by inhaling and lifting the right leg off the floor. Hold it steady. Flex the foot back to you. Tense and tighten those muscles of the right leg. Hold your breath in. And then release. Very good. Lower that right leg down. And now gently rock that right leg side to side. And then let it be still. Let it relax. Move over to the left leg. When you're ready, you can inhale and hold your breath in. As you inhale and hold the breath in, tense and tighten, lifting that left leg. And then exhale, release. Relax the left leg down. Very gently, lovingly, rock the leg side to side. And let it be. We're going to move up into the hips and buttocks. When you're ready, you can clench the glutes together, clenching those hips, lifting them off the ground, maybe just a half an inch. Squeeze them tight, keep inhaling, hold your breath in. And then just relax and just gently shift your hips into the mat and let them be. So now the lower body is completely relaxed. Don't have to move it at all. Just let it be where it is. We're going to move into the abdomen. Start to relax the lower belly. We'll also associate relaxing the lower belly with relaxing the lower back. So when you're ready, you can inhale and expand the lower belly like you were blowing up a balloon. Feel the lower belly expand as you breathe in deep. Hold the breath in. Feel the point of the lower back resting on the floor. Exhale, release. Let peace fill the belly. Let a softness come over the lower back. Tensions melting away. I'll bring your awareness up into the rib cage, the thoracic spine, chest, and inhale deeply and feel the chest start to lift. Feel the chest rise, hold the breath in. Exhale, release. Let the whole abdomen and torso be filled with peace. Let it relax. Now we'll move into the shoulders. When you're ready, you can gently draw the shoulders up towards the ears, tensing them, holding them there for a breath, and then exhaling, retracting the shoulders back to the ground. I'll do this once more, pulling the shoulder blades together on the back body so that the chest lifts up slightly. And then exhale, release, relax. Shoulder blades relaxed. Next, we'll move into the right arm and hand. You can inhale and reach the right arm off of the mat, lifting the hand and arm off the floor, extending the fingers long, and then it's at the peak of your in-breath, when you can't inhale anymore, squeeze the hand into a fist. And then exhale, relax, drop the arm down, release your fingertips. Just gently rock that right arm side to side. The right arm relax completely. It's good. We'll move over to the left arm now. When you're ready, you can inhale, lift that arm off the floor just a few inches. Gently extend the fingertips at the peak of your in-breath. You can't suck in any more air. Make a gentle fist, clenching the hand, tense and tight, all the muscles of the arms flexed. And then just exhale, release. Drop that left arm down. Lightly rock the arm side to side and let it be. You can invite a little swallow in the throat, or if you have to gently cough and clear your throat, that's okay. And then just very lightly move the head and neck side to side like we did at the beginning of our practice. Just gently stretching the head and neck. And let the head and neck find a comfortable place to relax in the center. You can start to relax the muscles of the jaw by gently opening and closing the lower jaw. Shift the jaw side to side gently. And just let the teeth lightly touch or have a little space between the teeth, and let the jaw relax. If you want to now, you can stretch the muscles of the face around the eyes by opening the eyes, maybe looking up towards the ceiling, looking left, looking right, squeezing the eyes. Peeling the eyes open and then squeezing them tight shut. Doing that a few times. And then closing the eyes and scrunching all the muscles of the face. And then relaxing them. So we've literally relaxed all the muscles from tips of our toes to the top of our head. You can let your physical body just rest in the space you've created to nourish your physical, emotional, mental being. Now we're going to start to peel away those layers and get to the spiritual root of our well-being. By opening our hearts to listen, we can receive the spirit of peace, the spirit of truth. We become quiet and still. We can start to hear that spirit moving within us and around us, guiding us. Continue to quiet your mind by observing your breath. And then eventually even that will go. You'll be left in this space that is utterly serene, peaceful, full of God's love. You can find that space within us at the busiest street corner, or in the middle of a boring meeting. That space is within us always. You only have to take a few breaths, peel away the layers and distractions, peel away our desires to be right or affirmed, and just rest in that quiet space within. Rest here for a few moments, inviting the spirit of peace to fill our hearts, our minds. You can rest here as long as you need to. Gently begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. Notice how your breath has become so relaxed as you rest here. And I invite you to stay here again as long as it serves you. You can wrap this up in your own time and way. Know that wherever we go beyond this class, that spirit of peace is calling to us always to reunite, to open our hearts and our minds, and reconnect. As you deepen your breath and that connection to life, you can start to bring little movements into your body. You can start to wiggle the fingers and toes. You might gently take a full body stretch, reaching your hands overhead. In whatever way supports you in this transition, go ahead and listen to that, do that now. When you're ready, you can make your way to a comfortable seated position. If you're ready to close your practice, and if you need to rest here a little bit longer, that's fine too. When you've reached that comfortable seated position, bring the hand to touch in front of the heart. Shanti, amen. spirit of peace live within you. May you connect with it